What's going on, travel family? Shout out to all the adventurers near and far. Welcome back to Point Noir, home of the Point Noir podcast, the only podcast show that inspires and equips men of color to go out and see the world for themselves. As always, I'm your host, Jerry III, aka Kimono Jack, and this is the 55th session of the Point Noir podcast. I'm so glad you're here, tuning in, listening, joining me through this experience. We have another amazing guest. I say it every week, but it's actually true every single week, and we've only been able to get here because of your support, because of you listening and sharing the show. So if you haven't yet either rated or given us a review wherever you listen to this platform, could be iTunes, could be Stitcher, please do so, and please share your favorite session with somebody in your life. Be that cool person that puts them on another cool podcast. If they're interested in travel, lifestyle, how young men of color are out here navigating in this day and age, this is the show for them. And if they love passport sponsorships, kind of a niche interest, but put them on the show. They'll enjoy it as well. I forgot to mention this last week, but I am still preparing and getting the course outline ready for our podcast basics course. So if you're interested in that, make sure you send an email to kimonojack@pointnoirshow.com. That's KIMONOJACK @pointnoirshow.com, and make sure the subject line is podcast. Still only taking a small group of people, but as I'm getting all the presentations and all the information and resources together, I wanted to make sure I let all the listeners know that if you're interested in creating your own podcast, getting your voice out there, this is going to be the course to get you there with the least number of steps possible, because we ain't got time to be thinking about 50,000 things. It's going to be the quick and dirty, let's get it done version. So drop me a line if that interests you. As I mentioned before, we have another amazing guest, and the story is just incredible. So let's not even spend any more time talking. Let's introduce today's guest. I'll see you on the flip side. Joining us today at The Point as our special guest is Gabe Sheffield. And as I hinted at in the intro, you might recognize his name or his image on the session art because he was one of our passport winners. And this right here is his featured session featuring just him and his brand new experience traveling internationally for the first time. So if you want to keep up with Gabe as he continues to travel the world, make sure you follow him on Instagram at blackspadez.media, and that's Spades, SPADEZ. And also check out Black Spades Media if you're interested in anything around media, DJing, photography, or just want to connect with cool people in Dallas. That's blackspadez.club, again with a Z. We talk about his entire experience from getting his passport to where he went, what he experienced, what he learned, and the takeaways that he was directly able to share with people once he got back home to Dallas, Texas. This is a great session. We do it live, which is one of my favorite formats. So we're just here kicking it the way the show was designed to be communicated. Just two travelers sharing stories and life and learnings over a couple drinks. So I think you're really going to enjoy the style and how it's live. It's really what happened in the moment. So as always, we got a 3-step drill. Okay, here we go. You know it by now. Step number 1, grab your refreshing beverage of choice. Your beverage, you know what I'm saying? No drinks, no sips, no solo cups, beverages only out here. Step 2, find the coziest corner on the comfiest couch that you can. And step 3, sit back and relax and enjoy today's session from us here at Point Noir. I'll see you on the flip side. Yo, what's going on, Gabe? Thanks for joining me today at The Point. How you feeling, fam?
I'm feeling real good, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we'll toast to that. Cheers.
Toast.
Yep. We're at Point Noir headquarters out here in Dallas, Texas. Gabe is out here from Dallas, and you were one of our passport winners, bro.
Yes, I was.
Yes. Congratulations again, man. We had you on the winner's circle number 2, I believe it was. And you're back on the show because you actually took your first international trip.
I did.
Yeah.
I had a great time, and I went to visit Jamaica, Montego Bay. I can't remember the name of the... Actually, I do. It's Iborostar Resorts. I think that's the name. I'm messing up the name. I'm pretty sure I am.
That's okay, because we're going to work into the whole thing. So let's start about you just getting your passport. So you were one of our sponsored winners.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what month it was. Maybe like March or April or something?
I believe so.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the process like getting your passport? Because it's a very new thing for you. It's your first passport.
Oh, yeah. So I surprised myself And I didn't realize that I actually had everything that I needed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't seen my birth certificate. I had put it away somewhere, hadn't seen it. My social security card,
Right.
I knew I had used it maybe like 2 months before, but I wasn't 100% sure. But it was like,
Right.
once I got the requirements, usually when I don't know where things are, it doesn't really flow that easily. But for some reason,
It doesn't manifest as quickly.
the passport situation, when I was looking for stuff for that, it's just everything just popped up and I found it,
Right.
and I just got it all together.
Okay.
And yeah, and I made that trip eventually. I didn't make the trip as soon as I found it, but when I found it, I was like, yes, I can make this trip.
Right.
And so I did.
Okay. And everything was cool because you had to make an interview for the passport or something. You had set an appointment. How did that go?
Did I have to set an appointment? I want to say that I didn't have to do an appointment. When I got there,
You went to the post office or you went somewhere else?
I went somewhere else. I went
Okay.
to the downtown location,
Okay.
like I guess like the passport headquarters. I don't know,
Sure,
here in
we'll go with
Dallas,
it. We'll go
whatever
with
the
it.
name of it is.
We'll go
It was at the federal building.
Okay.
So
Sounds official.
Yes, it was very official. So they took my information. They were trying to charge me for a picture, and the picture was like, I think it was like $14 or $15, and I was like, no, I can go down the street. So I left, and
Right.
I went to like the CVS down the street,
Yeah.
and they was like, yeah, it's just like $6, but then I paid for them to take the picture, and they took it, and they was like, oh, it's $16. And I was like, wait, I could have just printed this off. I could have took my own picture and printed it off myself. But it's cool. I went ahead and just paid it because I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this process. So
Right. And then you were reimbursed by the show, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Nah, well,
even
y'all,
for the accidentals, we got you.
Oh yeah. Nah, it worked out. It worked out great. I just didn't like how they did me there at it was at CVS.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
You know,
y'all.
they just scraping by. They're trying to, if it's not based off of a pharmacy prescription, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
they need all the
right.
margin they can get.
Look, I understand that. But outside of that, everything went really smooth.
Okay.
Like, the money that you all gave me was the perfect amount. I just gave it to them. They took it, gave me my receipt.
Right.
It was like, we're going to process it. And I didn't know that they hold on to your birth certificate a little bit longer. So I got my birth certificate like maybe 2 weeks after I got my passport.
Okay.
So
Were you nervous about that, or were you like, hey, why wasn't this?
Oh
in the
no, I
fine
mean,
print, or?
I wasn't really nervous about it because I didn't feel like I had anything to really worry about.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird. I'm like, are they really like doing some real deep searching, making sure I'm not?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think. I mean, I was like, all right, well, that's cool. So. I got the passport and I was so happy because I saw it and I was like, it's a cool little book.
Yeah.
Like, I just had never seen one. Well, I've seen them before,
Right.
but not really like to like flip through.
Be able to flip
you know what
through.
I mean?
Yeah.
I never done that, so it was real cool.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I'm glad you were excited when you got it. I'm glad you. Did you get a passport case, by the way? Did you do anything fancy or extra?
Nah.
You just grabbed the book. You're like,
I just got the
let's
book
get
and I
on
was
this
like,
flight. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about that trip because I know there was some additional motivation besides wanting to see the world to head out to Montego Bay to Jamaica. What were you going there to do? What was like the big deal going on?
It actually was like perfect timing. I knew I needed to get a passport like eventually, or I wanted to get one eventually so I could start traveling. But I went out there for work to DJ a wedding.
Okay.
So I had already been planning on getting one, but it was just like it just worked so perfectly. Like winning the scholarship, winning the contest, and then getting the passport, and then having my first trip just right there. Like it worked out. So it worked out really well. But I went there for a job.
Okay, so were all the expenses paid? Not to get too much to the business.
Oh no, you
but
can.
They
No,
covered
that's fine.
you?
They covered everything. They paid for
Okay.
everything. What actually ended up happening was I was originally supposed to be there for a specific amount of time, and they called me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to leave earlier so you can have more time down there?" And I was like,
time?
"For sure,
Okay.
yes." And I took it.
Nice.
And so I ended up leaving early, so I had way more time to enjoy myself and just like be there and be in the water and just like take it in a real way.
Okay.
So
rather than in between sets and
basically,
other like
yeah,
obligations, because it's a wedding, so you're gonna be busy.
Right.
People have expectations.
And I tell people this too, like when people have tried to entice me in the past in terms of like, oh well, we'll pay for your accommodations and all of that, and that's like whatever, and it's like people have to understand, like, when you travel somewhere to work, it's not as relaxing as people try to make it seem.
100%. 100%.
It's not. It's hard to fully relax if you're like working, but this situation, because they gave me so much time and because the passport process was so easy, it really did seem like a vacation.
That's what's up.
It really felt like a vacation. It really felt like that.
Right. And you're a hardworking entrepreneur, man. We were just talking earlier about, you know, you have to take some time out of the week just to reorganize and reset, but you do a little bit of literally everything when it comes to media and music. So, I mean, having a couple days to yourself, did you go by yourself?
Yes,
okay.
I did go by myself, but I had to share a room with the bride's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, with her brother. I think that was her brother. It was either her brother or her cousin. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I didn't know if you brought a significant other.
Oh, no. My girlfriend had actually already been to Jamaica 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, but 2 months before.
Oh, wow.
So she was just like, oh, I'm okay.
She's like,
good.
you have fun.
You go enjoy that. You go enjoy it.
Pass the ball.
Yeah, because she's had a passport, and like I said, her having a passport made me want to get a passport because she's been to. I know she's been to Europe. Mm-hmm. She's been to what's that other city? That's it's Arabic city. It's
Dubai.
Dubai. She's been to Dubai.
Yeah.
So she's been to Mexico. So all of that. So
okay. So now you're trying to get.
I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to be able to, you know what I'm saying, travel with her sometimes.
Put some points on the board. I see you.
And actually, speaking to that, I'll be using my passport again because we're planning a trip to Iceland in January.
Wow.
That should be fun.
Okay.
I don't know much about Iceland, but I'm about to find out.
You're gonna enjoy it, bro. You definitely will. And now I'm curious, were there any other opportunities you had previously to travel internationally for work that maybe you turned down because you weren't as interested in traveling?
Not necessarily for work, but my father's Mexican, so he's from Mexico, born and raised, all of that. And so I have family members who live in Mexico. So they have been trying to get me to come down there and see my cousins who I've only seen through pictures. So, but I've never been able to because one, I didn't have my passport, and then two, I just didn't have the time to do it.
Right.
But mainly because I didn't have a passport.
Right.
That was the main thing. Because I can make time to go out there, but if I didn't have a passport, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Getting much
I'm not getting further than the border.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm going.
Okay.
I don't want to be. I didn't want to be smuggled down there and have to smuggle my way.
Hey, listen. Many ways to skin that cat, my friend. Okay, so that's what's up. So, what did the experience mean for you? Were there any moments or conversations you had with yourself? I find oftentimes I'm talking to myself in the plane when I'm going or leaving somewhere. Just sometimes even looking at my passport, damn, we really able to get out here again. How did you feel getting on that plane?
Getting on the plane was cool. I didn't really feel differently, or it didn't make me feel any kind of way. It was more so when we got off the plane and we got into our cab to go to our to the resort. Yeah, that's when it hit me. Right, that's when it was
it's different out here.
Whoa, this is first of all they drive on opposite sides of the roads. It's opposites on that. The steering wheel's on the opposite side. It's, of course I'm used to seeing black people everywhere, because of where I'm from, but it was just interesting, just seeing local people who live a totally different life, who live by totally different rules, not totally different, but you know what I mean? It's just a totally different world, and so it's just that's what a passport can do for you. Right. It can open you up to see different things that you've never seen before, and even deeper than just seeing different things, but experiencing a different life. Yep. You know what I mean, to a certain extent. So that was I was just this is interesting. And I was just seeing dudes walk around, there were guys who in the streets who was just walking down the street with machetes, and I was like, damn, they just people are just it's just different. The houses were different, everything. Yeah. So it's just this is cool. Okay. I dig it a lot.
That's what's up, man. I haven't had a chance to go to Jamaica yet, but it's interesting that our first two passport winners to return on the show both went to Jamaica. Which I'm okay, maybe Jamaica needs to be in my plans just to have a better point of reference. But yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head. It's it's a different experience. And one thing I always focus on is that it's not better or worse. It's just different. It's different context, different culture. Was there anything that you struggled with while during your trip that you were just this is too different, or how do I rationalize what I'm seeing right now?
The only thing I kind of struggled with, and this doesn't really have anything to do with Jamaica itself. It was just that I'm really I don't know how to describe it, but when I think about the history of colonization in different places, I'm always not interested, but just more like curious about like what were the effects in this country in terms of like business, commerce,
right,
land ownership, all that. So the one thing that was kind of like to me was when I was at the resort, right? I was like, let me Google like, you know, who owns this, and it was some Spanish cat, like from Spain, like a Spaniard dude, whatever. And then all the artwork inside of there was like white art. Well, I can say white, but they were European people, all in the art. So I was just like, if we're in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? The people who work here clearly are Jamaican for the most part. The people who are patronizing from my little time there are mostly black people.
Really?
Yeah. Most of the people who were there at the resort were black. Like there were, and I'll give it probably about like 65-70% of the people there were black. Like,
was it an international mix or mostly Black American?
Mostly Black American.
Interesting.
Mostly Black American.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like, that was the only thing that was kind of like, kind of rubbed me, whatever. But that had nothing to do with Jamaica itself or the culture that I was getting. You know what I'm saying? Because the people, it was love. Like, the people were cool. I met some cool people who were down there, who were working. I actually ended up going into, there was like a side community of people like who built like some little, it's like a little shanty town kind of situation. Like a lot of the homes were just built from just boards, and they actually lived there. And then a part of their jobs, their daily jobs, was to come to the shore and sell items to the people who were at the resort.
Right.
And so I met one guy, and they told me I was crazy, but I went over there, back there to his community. So I was like back there with them talking. He walked me back there. He introduced me to a bunch of people. He was real cool cool brother. He gave me some food that wasn't from the resort, and it was a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So I was over there. It was like, you crazy for going over there? And I'm like, nah, man. They're people just like us. Like I don't think they're out to harm us. If anything, they want to make money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because they're poor. A lot of people in this part. So that was interesting. That was cool.
Got you. I think an interesting thing to point out about your narrative and some of the ways that we've met is that you're a big advocate for community. Right. People of color, regardless. You want to tell people a little bit more specifically where you come from and some of the other activities and community activism that you engage in? Because if they follow you on social, they'll find out you're pretty vocal.
I am. I let my opinion be known about certain things, but no. I mean, for one, I'm a black-owned business, so I work with a lot of other black-owned businesses. If you believe that black people are in a less than kind of position, I believe that it's going to be the people who actually control the commerce, the money, the businesses. Like we're going to be the ones who facilitate our way out of this. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So as a result of that type of belief, I partner with other black-owned businesses or just interest groups. Think Tank is one of them, and Think Tank is just it's just a bi-weekly workspace that we have, and we just open our doors to other young black professional entrepreneurs, or even if you're not an entrepreneur, but if you're working on something, like we just want to give people, we want to give us an opportunity to work amongst us on things that directly contribute to us. Right. So that's Think Tank. Also, I work closely with just activists in the city who are just trying to make change. Shout out to my girl Nisi. Shout out to my Black Canvas group. Black Canvas is an open mic because I do believe that a part of our liberation, so to speak, we have to have instances in which we push like the art, the culture, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Like we need safe. I'm all about creating safe spaces for us to fully like engage in the arts and fully like give ourselves an opportunity to be expressive. So all of that.
So 100%. And particularly, we were talking about apartment living situations. And you're in South Dallas, which has a lot of history here.
Oh, South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff, my bad. My bad. South Oak Cliff.
It's a small difference, you know what I'm saying? Freeway difference.
Transplant here, my bad.
Nah, it's all good.
But there's definitely things going on in that community and area around gentrification, around redevelopment, around, empowering or disempowering people of color. And I think it's really interesting that you took that step to say, yo, let me see what's going on in your community, because you just have that open mindset. Right. Were there any similarities that you saw between your experience in Jamaica and that community and some of the things you've experienced here in Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say with Jamaica, some of the similarities, and this is something I actually found out through talking to one of the cab drivers. We had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah.
For sure, there are outsiders trying to get land there, just like there are outsiders in our communities here who are trying to get land.
Right.
And they don't necessarily want to get land for the benefit of the people who actually live there. And it's the same situation in Jamaica.
Right.
One of the differences is, and I learned this from my driver, there's kind of like this invisible line, so to speak. Obviously, there are areas that are like more tourist heavy. Those are the areas in which people who are not from Jamaica can come and buy land.
Okay.
Like, you can't really gentrify that part because it's already kind of given to the businesses in a sense.
That's interesting.
Coastal area, the coastal parts, all of that. But the one thing that he told me that he was like, what's not allowed is in the hills.
Okay.
Like, I have video of when we were driving, because I just, videoed it because I was like, these hills are cool. They look really, like, it's interesting, like, just the whole situation.
Right.
And he explained, he was like, in those spaces, you can't be an outsider and own land here. We won't allow it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean you won't allow it? He was like, it just won't be allowed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you just like, if you go up there in the hills and you are trying to buy something, and let's say you do in some act of God, you actually are able to acquire a part of land while up there. If something happens to you, then that's not on us. I mean,
interesting.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, there will be if you make it back down and you get to talk to authorities and you're saying these people did something, whatever,
yeah.
Nothing is going to happen to us because no one is going to corroborate with your story.
Really?
So they have a different set of rules when it comes to those spaces.
Right.
And I learned more too because I asked him, I was like, so why is that? He was like, a big part of it is, for one, a lot of our resources up there, like the stuff that we trade, the stuff that we export, the stuff
Coffee's
that we create,
up there, right?
all of that, like a lot of the stuff, a lot of our, he didn't say black owned, but that's what it is, Jamaican black owned resource producers are up there.
Right.
So they don't allow it to be disrupted.
Wow.
Which I totally agree with and respect. Yeah. But yeah, that's the difference between down, because here, I mean, we can't stop anyone from moving into our community.
Right.
Even if we 100% know that they are not trying to benefit what's going on around here. They are, you know what I'm saying, gentrifiers to the most negative degree. Like, there's still nothing that we can do. If they purchase it, it's theirs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Up there, or down there rather, that's not the case.
Got you. That's interesting. It has a lot to do with well, I'm curious, what was the population split like? I've never been to Jamaica. Was it is it predominantly black, the entire island?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jamaica's predominantly black.
Okay.
But they have and there's another thing I found out because I had heard and I asked them because I'm like, now it's open now, I'm asking all these questions now.
Right.
So because I had heard that like there were Chinese people who were trying to buy like a lot of like land in Jamaica and and I was like, is that true? He was like, well, to a certain extent, yes. But he was like, what they are allowed to do, and it's not just Chinese people, but it's just like, again, any outside people,
foreigners.
Like they allow them to rent these spaces. Because we had passed by a church and it had like a sign like it was a church, like a little what do you call it was like a little banner, and it was like in, I don't know exactly, because I definitely don't want to confuse different Asian groups with different age groups because I think that's hella disrespectful.
Right.
But it was an Asian church because it was Asian writing. I recognize that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could decipher that much.
Clear.
And he pointed that out and he was like, well, they don't own that building. They're just renting it. So we'll allow people to rent buildings and all of that, but they can't own it. Like, we're not for that.
Okay.
And I was like, I get it.
Interesting. I think it's really fascinating the amount of research and even these interactions that you engaged in. And that's why I was like, you know what, you should share with the people kind of what you're about when you're here in town, because that's you off rip.
Yeah, that's me off rip. So I was like, at first when I started asking these questions, the guys who I was in the cab was looking at me like, they was like, wait, what? Like, they just didn't know where my questions were coming from. My first two questions, I don't think they realized where I was coming from. But then once I started to engage him, they started asking questions specifically about like the culture, specifically about some of the struggles they have with people who are trying to gentrified, so to speak. I don't even know if they use that word down there. I don't know if that's what they call it down there, but so to speak, that's kind of what they try to do. Similar concept.
I feel like that term is thrown around a little bit too loosely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Big on definitions, but like, okay, shifts are happening.
Yes. Or shifts were attempted to happen down there, and it was like, and I asked the guy, and so I was like, so it's rough and it's rugged up there, in the hills. I was like, what part of Jamaica do you live in? He was like, he looked back at me, he was like, I live in the hills.
Right.
I was like, oh, so you're from that area, from that part.
Yeah. Firsthand.
Oh yeah, he knows firsthand. So
had you done any research before you went down? Because I think it's also cool that you researched, who owned the resort you were in. Like, I'm trying to think how many people would even bother to be like, wait a second, I see mostly black people, I see mostly white people in the paintings, like, who the fuck owns this shit?
Exactly.
Had you done any research to kind of prepare yourself before you went to Jamaica, or you started doing it as soon as you hit land?
No, I didn't think, I literally was treated as a vacation. I didn't do any kind of prior, outside of what I had learned, secondhand knowledge, but no, I didn't do any real research. But it was like, when I got there though, I was just like, because anytime I see like any space, or any country rather, that is predominantly black populated, I'm always interested in if it's a large black population and I know they have a history of colonization, or someone attempted to colonize them, or all of that. Like, I'm always interested.
Which is everybody,
basically. I'm always interested in the long-term effects in those other countries, because I'm always like, there are black people here who are catching hell. There are black people in other countries, I'm for sure, are catching hell just because they're black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that has nothing to do with being Jamaican or African American or British born, whatever. Like, if you are black in a lot of these countries, you deal with some amount of oppression.
Right.
Even sadly, even when you make up the majority of the population. And that's kind of a messed up situation in my mind. But yeah.
Wait till you go to South Africa, my friend.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. You know where I'm really looking forward to going? To Brazil.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, I know more about, I guess, the negative stuff in regards to our people down there, and based on what I've read and what I've learned, like, our people are being harmed for different stuff here. But the rate is a little bit higher. Like, their police brutality towards black people is worse. Yeah. A lot of their political figures who are standing up for the rights of black people in those countries, they are, to this day, being murdered. Right. Activists, all of that. So it's I'm looking forward to going there. Right. And I definitely want to visit South Africa as well to see kind of like what that dynamic looks like there too.
Exactly. It's interesting, and it's interesting to hear people talk about it. When I was in South Africa, I got to spend time around a cat who was a refugee when he was 5 because of the political activity of his mother at the time. So he was exiled when, refugee isn't the right term, he was in exile from the country of South Africa because he was with his mother. And his experiences and the stuff they used to do to, keep clear of cops and to make sure they weren't, implicated in anything. Like, he's now in his 40s and he had stories to tell.
I can imagine.
Happily sitting in what would probably be a gentrified version of town. And he's like, this is just what the history and experience has been. So I can't wait to go out there and hear some different perspectives. Because, we think about the travel, and of course you had your vacation days, but you decided, you know what, I want this action. I want to learn, and not everybody is tuned for that. You should have a vacation where your mind is free of stuff, but that's who you are. That's
that's kind of, I wouldn't have been comfortable just don't get me wrong, I definitely enjoyed the beach, and I definitely enjoyed the partying. I definitely enjoyed the drinking and the kicking it, for sure. But along with that, my nature, or the way that not gonna say my nature, but the way that I view things, like, I have to know about that. Like, it can't just be all fun. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So that's the kind of person I am.
That's your character, bro. I definitely appreciated the communities that you are involved in. The people that get to see you appreciate it, and it's dope. It's something that I'm glad we get to highlight and that you're comfortable sharing about. It's super dope. So talk to me about, actually, was there anything else, any other experiences that were very notable for you culturally throughout your time in Jamaica? You mentioned, heading out to homeboys.
The little side part,
yeah,
the part
side
to what you
part,
call it.
talking to your taxi driver. Was there anything that stood out where you were like, this was a moving experience for me?
Oh man, I would have to say probably there was one night to where we had went out and we partied, we just kicked it or whatever, and then we just all went out to the beach after it was over. And we weren't supposed to actually be on the beach that late because I understand like there are concerns for safety and all of that. They don't want us to drown out there and not be able to see us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
we are melanated after all.
You know what I'm saying? We might.
They don't reflect light the same. They don't reflect light.
Exactly. Our bones might be a little heavier, so we might. I don't know, but
bone density. Wow, that's a throwback.
I would say one of the guys who's from there, local born Jamaican, he was just like, man, he was like, if you really want to, experience something that feels good, man, you have to. They say, like, you experience a cleansing if you are in the water as the sun rises. Like, it's just spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm like, I want to experience that.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
So that night, like we all just kind of stayed up, just talking or whatever, got in the water, and then when the sun was coming up, we were in the water, just talking and just enjoying it. And it was very. I can't say I just felt like that deep cleansing that I guess that I not that they told me would happen, but I can definitely say like I experienced something. Yeah, I felt something.
That's real,
and it was good. Like it was like it just for that little bit of time. I mean, granted, we had been drinking and we hadn't slept the whole time, but just being there and just being with each other and just being happy and just being in that place. Yeah, it almost for sure felt like one of those moments to where like you forget the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like the bullshit of the world, or you know what I'm saying, the extra shit. Like it was just a bunch of black people in the water. The sun was rising. It was beautiful. That was first and foremost. Like it was real nice looking. Like just that, and the scene itself was just cool. And I took pictures. I even made the couple, the bride and groom, because they stayed up too. Right. I made them get in the water, and I snapped pictures of them. Nice. While the sun was rising. So it just I don't know. It felt free. It felt like. Yeah, it was free. Like I was free of worry, free of all that. But it was cool.
Wow, man, that sounds so powerful. And I actually have a lot of questions about that moment because that's something to me that stands out as one of those unique opportunities you get from traveling that happen more often than you think. And it's a change of location, it's a change of environment, it's a change of geography. Ain't no, beaches out here in Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we ain't got.
What would it have taken to have that similar moment here? So, like for you, I mean, that sounds like a moment of victory to me.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
Where you're just like, am I here right now?
Yeah,
damn right I am.
Oh yeah. It was definitely all of that. Like it was surreal in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it's because like I guess being here or being, I ain't gonna say being necessarily in America, but just being conscious of the bullshit, being aware of the problematic stuff in regards to race and blackness. Like it is good to have those times to where you can just kind of like something can literally take your breath away. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's good to have those instances to where those things just fleet for that period of time. Like those, it's just the only thing that you're there. You're literally there in the moment. You know what I mean?
You're able to just be.
Yeah. And it was great. I dug it.
Dude, I appreciate you sharing that so much because that's a sacred moment. That's a privileged moment, man. That's something, man. Yeah. So I'm glad that connection resonated with you. That experience. I'm glad you got out there to have that because it would have been hard as hell. It would have been a whole different story to make that happen here.
Oh nah, you can't. Nah, I can't go to Joe Pool Lake and experience that. Joe Pool, no shade to Joe Pool Lake, but this is not the same. This is not the same. And then I mean, and then even then, like I mean, once I brought myself down, I did think in terms of like, what did the natives who were in Jamaica feel when they first saw those ships? Because I could just look as far as the horizon could go, and this was the ocean. This was it. there is no enclosing, like I guess what I'm used to here in Dallas. Like there is no.
Right, it's not a lake.
No, this is not a lake. This is the ocean. This is where people literally came to. You know what I mean? From God knows where. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it just had me thinking about that part, and then even just the traveling part, because I do believe that black people traveled before slavery.
What before? Before enslavement.
Before enslavement, yes. Before enslavement.
Well before, it's been documented.
Yeah. So, like, I can just imagine even what they felt like pre-European colonization bullshit. I can just imagine what they felt just coming to Jamaica for the first time, and maybe just trading with the locals. You know what I'm saying? The people who were actually there, the natives who were there, and just experiencing it, and then just getting on by like I felt like those people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a black person who's come to visit this country just to experience it, not to take away, not to disenfranchise, not to rape, not to pillage, not to have my own personal gain like they did in that sense. You know what I'm saying? But just to experience it, and I felt like a traveler in that way. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. That's really dope, and I think your ability to share that thought, that idea, is really going to resonate with people tuning in, because it's like, well, it's a totally different vibe. Yeah. You know, and having a vacation is one thing, and everybody deserves time off and time to themselves, but you found a way to kind of have a little bit of both in your first experience. Yeah. And the whole shit was paid for?
And it was paid for. Right? Shout out to my man Pierre and Ashley. Congratulations to the Durants. Hey. You know what I'm saying? Black love is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So,
right. Shout out to Black love. You know what I'm saying?
All of that love.
All right, summertime shine is about to be that time.
You know what I'm
saying? That's what's up, man. Really, dude, that sounds like an amazing, a beautiful series of moments. So let's talk about coming back from that trip. What was it like when you landed back here in the States, when you got back home? Were you still carrying some of that energy with you? What were you experiencing?
Well, for one, it was hard to kind of process it, because as soon as I got off the flight in Florida, they rebooked my flight to 6 a.m. that next morning.
Oh, so I got a long layover?
Well, it wasn't originally supposed to be that. It was supposed to be just a connecting flight. I was supposed to get off and immediately get on a plane, come back to Dallas that night. It was around 7 o'clock or something. So that was their fault for doing that. They kind of messed that reflection part up, because I feel like if it would have went smoother, I really could have been able to kind of like gauge it. Yeah. But I mean, I think once I finally got home, I still felt it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially because I mentor too.
Okay. So I didn't know that.
Yeah. So my young guys, when I got back, I got a chance to sit down with them and talk to them about what the experience was like.
Really?
And I shared pictures.
Had they traveled
and all that.
At all?
They've never really traveled to that extent. Like one of them, Steve, he's been able to travel. I think he went to Costa Rica one time. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He went to he went to the East Coast for a little bit. Yeah. But just generally speaking, like, I don't think they've had the opportunity to really see the world as an exploratory kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they may have went there for like Steve went the first time. I think he traveled out of the country. He traveled to Costa Rica, but it was like a church trip, mission trip type thing. Yeah. So that's, you know, but yeah. So that in itself, like being able to share that experience with them and show them pictures and the video and stuff like that, I didn't realize what I took away until I started talking to them.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that for real. Because now you got to relive the moment. Yeah. Now you're pulling from memories and you're like, wait a second, what's up? Why is the power of this memory so strong? Why am I tearing up right now?
It was mad strong. I was like, yo, these are the hills. Right. This is the clubs. Right. This and that. Like, it was really cool. Really, it was really good.
What was their reaction? What was their response?
Oh, they was like, they were like, oh, this is cool. Like, I was showing them the videos and stuff. Showed them the weed. Showed them all of everything that I was exposed to. Oh, they was digging it, and I definitely encourage them to, like, when they get the opportunity to make that same travel, because they definitely want to travel. Yeah. But I don't think they understand how beneficial it is to, like, their personal growth to do it, like how good it can actually feel, you know what I'm saying? Because they just turned, like, they're young, they just turned like 20 and 19 and 21.
But they're not too young. I mean, they are firmly young.
They are young men who are just now getting out there on their own. So it's like, it's one thing for them to be on their own and finally like holding their own and having their own space and all that, but then I'm like, y'all don't even understand. Like experiences like Jamaica will be those experiences that really show you how you can really appreciate life. You see what I'm saying? Like you can feel like something deep. Like you can, you know what I'm saying? We can be here in Oak Cliff and whatever, you know what I'm saying? We can go to a spot and get some good food and just have a good, you know, a good time, whatever. But once it's, I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna paraphrase, but I'm gonna mess it up. But it's like once your mind has been exposed to different things, it's impossible for it to go back to its original dimension. And that's what I try to express with them. Like, it's like, I'm telling y'all this and y'all like, oh, that's cool, that's tight. But once y'all experience it as young men who are just traveling, not forced to travel, not on, you know what I'm saying, not on a mission, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But when you're just out there just to experience it just for yourself, oh yeah, it's different. It's better. Like it
hits different.
It hits very differently.
It hits different.
Very differently.
That's so cool, man. Because I had no idea that you were involved as a mentor with you know, young men of color, young black men. So for you to be able to directly share that experience so fresh, I had no idea. Oh yeah, and I was able to just share the passport process. Like if they would have asked me about a passport situation, like fuck, I
don't know, fam. Just follow the list. Whatever the list says, you gotta do it. You gotta just do it. Call them. You gotta question. You gotta call them.
You don't just do it. Just
you gotta just follow directions. You know, all of that. But now I can happily say that I have firsthand knowledge of it, and I can actually tell them. You know what I'm saying? Like I can make that trip for them when they take it that much more easier because I've now experienced it.
I mean, you're a more effective leader because of that experience.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree. 110%.
That's so dope, man. And you know, for myself and the show and the platform, that's one of the things I want to take. Because listen, you're already a leader before you traveled. You definitely were.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And coming back but being more effective to the people that look up to you, because I don't know these young men that you mentor. You know, I don't have the same level of influence. I don't have the same level of relationship. I might not even have the same ability to communicate with them because we all got different stories.
Right.
But the fact that you're more effective to the people that matter most to you is something that I really want to pull more out of from the show. So I'm glad that I can hear that story, and I'm glad you shared it with me because that's the fucking point.
Yes.
I can't reach everybody, but if you can be reached and somebody else can be reached that has a whole different community, let's get this shit going together, you know?
Yes. What you're doing is you're changing lives. Like, literally. You know what I'm saying? Literally, my life is different because of that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And because my life is made differently, I can affect other lives differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we said, like I couldn't tell them shit about a passport at first.
I think it's blue.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You gotta wait.
You know, books.
You know, something like that. But now it's like I can confidently guide them to them potentially traveling. And then of course when that day comes, when it's time for them, when they're ready to make that trip, I'm gonna point them towards the show and towards you, Jerry.
As soon as they hit 21, we got them, but there are opportunities for them before that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm happy to bring them in and show what the fuck goes on here, man. I didn't know that, and that's really cool. That's tying all the ends together. And I'm glad you had those experiences, though, because those are unique in and of themselves. I'm sure there are people who've been in Jamaica who haven't had that depth of experience. And it's just an awareness thing. It's what interests you. Are you interested enough to Google something? Are you interested enough to ask some different questions?
Right.
And everyone's got their different thing, but for the communities, again, that you're most visible in, that you lead, those were the questions you needed to be asking. Those were the experiences you needed to have.
Right.
And now you've brought something back and opened people's eyes, and that's super dope. So what's next for you? How do you feel about, okay, I just hit my first international trip. You already mentioned going off to Iceland. Is travel something that's going to become more of or international travel going to be more of a focus for you? Or are you going to try to find more opportunities work-wise? Or how do you feel about travel now?
Oh, yes. Oh, for sure. I definitely want to make international travel like more my thing. But I think what I want to do in addition to that is try to find work while I'm there.
Yeah.
So I can make it like a double whammy in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To where, because even while I was down there in Jamaica, they let me DJ at the pool. So we had kind of like a mini pool party.
Okay.
At the resort. they told me we had to rent speakers for the wedding. Yeah, I had to rent speakers from the outside DJ, and that worked out. And he let me keep them all day. Like, he was just cool. I was like, I only needed them for 3 hours.
Right.
And he was like, so the people who were at the resort was like, oh yeah, well, their wedding will be over at 4, so you can just come back at 4. And then I was like, come here. I was like, let me talk to you one-on-one, bro.
Right.
And he's like, what's going on? I was like, can I keep them longer, or do you have to come back at 4? He's like, nah, man, you can keep them longer.
Right.
I said, okay, cool.
Right.
How long do I have?
Right.
He was like, man, I got plenty of speakers.
Yeah.
It's good. You can hang on to them. I was like, for this evening. And so we ended up setting up speakers at the pool.
Right.
And then
I saw some video clips. I think there was a twerk off. It was some
twerking. It was some alcohol. It was a lot. There was a lot going on. I was just DJing.
Right. I was just facilitating. The movements, but it was them moving. You know?
And then they came up to us and they was like, well, we have these events that's about to start off at the resort, so y'all have to move it somewhere or stop it. And we was like, okay, cool. So we just went down to the beach.
Right.
So we took the speakers down to the beach.
Wow.
And then I started DJing down there, and then down there I could play like unedited music, and that was the other cool part. Like, the staff that was there, generally speaking, like, very professional. They wasn't like too friendly. They wasn't like too whatever. They just kind of let people just do what they wanted to do. They kind of stayed out the way, was quiet, and just worked on whatever they worked on.
Right.
When I started DJing for the wedding, because I had to set up like early.
Right.
I started playing music, like American music. I started playing like Afro house music, and they was just walking up to me, and it was like this whole time, like, y'all, they've been just tunnel vision on whatever it is they was working on, focusing on, and then they would stop. And they would come over there and then talk to me. Yeah. What song is this? And da-da-da-da. I was like, music really is like...
the universal language.
It is definitely there. Because I wasn't playing any Jamaican music. Like, I wasn't playing any music from there.
You wasn't doing Bob Marley's greatest hits?
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
I heard that shit was fire.
Oh, no, it is fire.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you, bro. Nobody paid you to do that in Jamaica.
Nah.
But this isn't the ironic show.
And that was
Noir podcast.
And that was the other part. The club experience was a whole different experience. It was cool. But they were just coming up to me, and they were just like really feeling the music. Cause I was playing like Afro house. I was like K Tronada, different remixes to songs and stuff like that. So. And of course, I was playing like hip hop and just stuff that they just had never heard before. And it's like, we didn't know. I was like, never heard this song. Like, where's this from? And I was like, nah, this is Young Dolph.
Right.
This is 3 6 Mafia. This is this is so. But yeah,
that's what's up. Damn. Yeah. Dude, that just even listening to it, like I'm sitting back right now. We've been drinking a little bit, maybe not enough because we still got alcohol left, but that's dope, man. I'm glad you were able to connect in that way. And again, it's unique. Not everybody's able to do it. That's not everybody's interest, but you did. You took those steps, and nobody would have let you just ask those kind of questions or keep speakers if you didn't have a vibe about you that, kind of brought them in. That said, you know what? He's cool. He's here for us. You know what I'm saying? He's not here to take. He actually just gave us a pool party and a beach party. You know what I'm saying? That's really dope. What would be your biggest takeaway from this whole experience? And I want to ask you about the clubs too, because I ain't never been.
My biggest takeaway from the experience was that, and I already kind of knew this, but it kind of really like solidified in my mind. Like, literally, a lot of these places, like seeing the people there. If they didn't talk at all, if I was just watching them, seeing them, I would think they was they're just black people from Dallas or other black people from another place in the United States. Like, literally, a lot of them could legitimately have been my cousins.
Could have been my auntie, could have been
my aunt, could have been whatever. It's nothing like...
Doesn't it fuck you up a little bit?
It does a little bit.
Oh, she looks just like my auntie.
It does a little bit. And it just was like, literally like, wow, like they are a culmination of African peoples, just like I am. Yeah. In a sense. You know what I'm saying? They just... The boat may have got to them years before it dropped us off where we were at. You know what I'm saying?
It made a pit stop first.
It made a pit stop there first. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's the only difference between us, is that the Africans who are in Jamaica were just there. Geographic, it's just a geographic difference, but they are no different than me, or no different from you, or no different from a lot of the black people we see. They just speak a different language, they have a different dialect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just totally, and that was just kind of like, it's like I said, I already knew it, but it was just interesting just seeing it.
When you're in it and you're surrounded
by
different time, different place, but it's ill. You just be like,
I'm like, damn, you could definitely be my cousin. You look
right,
like my cousin.
Right. You sure? Let me find my cousin on Facebook right now. See where you at.
No, it's not Sean.
Right.
Okay, you ain't Sean. Okay.
It's Rupert.
Exactly. So
the OD British name. All right, so talk to me about the clubs, and then we're gonna round out. What's going on in the clubs? Where do I need to see? Do you have any recommendations? Clubs and recommendations for anybody following out to Montego Bay?
I only went to one club. We went to Margaritaville, and obviously I was like, when they said Margaritaville, I was like, that's not. I don't think that's owned by us. I don't think it's owned by Jamaicans, by Jamaicans per se. But we're gonna roll to it.
Okay.
So we went to it, but it was real cool. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I guess as a DJ, like, I can appreciate different music from different regions.
Sure.
And it was like different. It was like maybe like 2, maybe 3 different. I think it was 2 levels that I went to. So there was like the bottom level where it's like the entrance was at, and the guy, the DJ was just playing nothing but like Jamaican hits, and then upstairs the DJ was playing like American songs and all of that. Okay. Like, my people was like downstairs for a little bit, then they wanted to move upstairs, and I was like, I want to stay down here. Right. Because after I went upstairs for a little bit and just kind of heard, I was like, okay, your music is cool. It's familiar music.
You know this.
I'm cool with that. That's tight.
So downstairs was more dance hall.
I was like, I want to go back downstairs.
Right.
And I was like, it was cool because, for one, I had never physically, I never in person seen like the dance groups. Like, you used to watch Sean Paul videos, and then you see like the whole, you know what I'm saying, the groups and stuff, like the dance groups and all that. I never really seen it in person, so I got a chance to see that, and I was like, just seeing them like, just respond to the music. It was like, obviously I didn't know the song, but they'll drop a song, the DJ like, right up in here, da, 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 da. And then he'll drop the beat, and then everybody will be like, oh, and they just like start turning up to it. It was one song, something about shooting, but not like shooting like with a gun per se, but it was like boom, or it was like the sound of it, and it was a part of the song. Everybody was like boom, boom, boom. It was to a beat, and I was like saying it too, and the dude like looked at me, he was doing it with me, and I was like, I was like, I have no idea what this song. I turned.
What am I co-signing right now?
I turned to somebody else, but I was singing it like I knew it, and he was vibing, and I was vibing with him. It was just some dude who was there, and they was just like, I love that part, like just being able to like see them turn up to their music, and being like, damn, like I don't know this song, but it's lit,
right?
Like,
it's a vibe. It's a
vibe. Like, everybody's like turned up to it, and it was cool. Like, people was just there. Like, people was getting broke off. You know what I'm saying? They was dancing. You know what I'm saying? People was really getting it in. Like, it was a real dance party. Like, it was a legit dance party.
Versus what we kind of get here in the States is a lot of standing around.
Yeah.
Of posturing.
It made me, it definitely, as a DJ, it just reaffirmed to me the kind of scene that I want to always create, which is a scene where, people just dancing, just back to back, dancing until they sweating.
Right.
And that was what I saw down there. I saw a lot of sweating because they were dancing that hard. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they came there for. It's a different culture.
Exactly. It's like, they out and they about to turn up. They not just gonna get a drink and just go off to the side.
Try to look cute.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, none of that. Like, they was out there dancing and just enjoying themselves.
Right. This is my gym membership.
Exactly.
Fuck you talking about.
Exactly. Like, all of that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I guess just as a foreign person, like, they will try to charge you more, because that was the other thing I didn't like. That was the one thing I actually didn't like. The one thing when I bought a drink and he charged me like $15 for one drink. I was like, fam. Right. And I was like, I can't. I had already started drinking the drink, so I couldn't get I couldn't get my money back. Couldn't get and I was just like, he was like, oh, that's just the charge for it. I was like, nah, fam, you good. I'm good talking to you. I'm good. But that was the only thing. So I would suggest definitely, before, if you do go out, definitely pregame beforehand.
Always.
Because
that's
we know to do that here in the States, but for sure do it there, because if you're trying to drink at the spot and they know you're American, which they will see that you're American when they see your debit card,
very clearly,
you might get overcharged. You might get overcharged. Right. But outside of that, it was lit.
I'm with it. Could be a small price to pay unless you.
It is, and I took it. I just took it. I was like, I ain't gonna let it.
I'm glad you was aware. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not gonna kill my vibe for the night.
Nah.
That's what's up. Any other must-haves or must-eats or must-experiences that you...
I would say definitely bring some shoes, the water shoes, the shoes that you put on when you're going to the beach and all that.
Aqua socks or whatever.
Definitely bring those. Definitely bring actual swimming trunks, because I think if I would have worn just basketball shorts, it just wouldn't have been as comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I'd say just definitely have beach attire. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just more comfortable. It's not so much a looking differently or looking out of whatever. But it's just you will be more comfortable if you have like the beach attire and stuff like that.
That's what's up.
And as far as anything that you could bring, because they will, I mean, because you're foreign, so they might charge you more for little stuff. Just try to get everything that you need while you're here in the States and pack it with you.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like try your best not to be like, okay, when I get down there to Jamaica, I can buy it.
No.
Just try to buy it, because you might either not have access to it, or it just might be hella overpriced.
Right.
So that's my only advice.
Okay. Bet, man. Well, dude, as we round out, and before you even get to it, apparently if y'all need an international DJ musical experience, hit my guy up. But I'm gonna have you plug everything positive you got going on right now. This is your spotlight right here, bro. What you got going on?
Okay, so like I said, I mentioned Think Tank. Think Tank is a workspace. Shout out to my man Scotty. He's a realtor. He opens up his realty office for us to have a workspace for young black professionals to work on any goals, any side things, any side hustles or whatever. So myself and Kiera Tate, we facilitate that every other Tuesday. Also Black Canvas. I'm part of the Black Canvas team, and Black Canvas is just an open mic night that we do to give an opportunity for black art.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So whether you're a poet, whether you do monologues, whether you sing, whether you rap, and you just want a space that's welcoming and that's vibey, that's us, that's young, that's youthful, that's energetic and all of that. There's that. Also Debonair Society, connected with them. I'm part of that team, and that's just a once a month weekend that we do, and that's who I actually went to Jamaica with, like the people who put that together, my man Pierre and Ashley, which they took some months off to prepare for the wedding, but we're gonna restart that back up, and it's just a cool experience in terms of like, if you like to get dressed up, you know what I'm saying, you like to have unlimited drinks, you like to connect with people.
Big fan of unlimited drinks.
There's that. Let me see. I own Black Spades Media. We're a full-service media company. We do photography, DJing, video, event consulting, or if you're just looking for someone in a specific field, I can connect you with somebody. If I can't do it,
how do they learn more about Black Spades Media? Y'all got a website?
You can follow us on Instagram at Black Spades, and it's Spades with the Z, SPADEZ Media on Instagram. www.blackspades.club, not .com, but .club on the internet. So yeah, we mainly do like nightlife stuff, but we're getting more into like corporate stuff and community stuff.
International stuff
now.
You got some stuff that's international? This is international stuff.
Hey, I will travel. I will travel for you.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's pretty. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, Tate's on Fridays. So yeah. Also, if you're looking to just kick it on a Friday night, you want to go get some drinks or something, pull up on me at Tate's. I'm there every Friday.
Hey, and it's a turn up.
It's definitely a cool scene. Yes.
Don't show up too late because you ain't getting in.
It can get packed. It can get stupid in there. You know what I'm saying? But stupid in a good way.
You know, that respectable, healthy stupid. You need every once in a while.
You need it just a little bit.
You need it.
Just a little bit.
Why not every Friday?
Just a tad bit.
Let's go. Just what the doctor ordered. Well, dude, I'm glad you've been able to come back on the show with your own feature episode. Dude, I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for entering, taking the chance. Because there's so many people, bro, you wouldn't believe the number of people who know and don't do anything. Like, that's a big fucking deal. So you took the step, and that's you, man. You've definitely shared that with everybody. I think they get a sense of you. You had a great experience. You're able to impact others, man. I don't know how much better it gets, bro. Like, fuck, we need to host beach parties in Jamaica now? Like,
I'm down for it. Shoot. might still have a connection down there. I might be able to call somebody and work something else.
That's what's up, man. So real quick, remind me, where's the next place you're headed to?
The next place internationally, Iceland in January.
Okay.
With Danielle. Hey, boo. Hey. Okay, just shout it out real quick. That's all.
Hey, no, we're shouting out Black Love. You know what I'm saying? This is going to go on tape. This is on wax. This is,
you know what I'm saying?
This is in the show.
All of that.
Hey, what up, Danielle? Yeah, man, dude, excited for you. Glad you are in this circle of men of color who travel internationally and have perspective, dude. Thank you so much for being back on the show, bro.
Oh, no problem, my man. No problem, brother.
We're going to wrap on some stuff, but for now, we're going to sign off, y'all. Y'all take care. Be safe. You want to say anything before we dip?
Nah, man. Thank you. I appreciate the show. Appreciate you, Jerry. I am grateful.
Dude, pleasure is all mine. You took it, you ran with it. That's the fucking mission. So, till next time, here's the outro. It's outro time. Yo, Gabe, thank you so much for coming through the show. Thank you so much for submitting to get your passport, taking action quickly, and then coming back on to share your experience with everybody else who could be inspired from your journey just over the past few months, man. That's the amazing thing. This happened in just the past few months. Y'all make sure you keep up with Gabe on Instagram at blackspadez.club. He's always around Dallas, always involved with the community, putting out positive energy. Make sure you spell spades, S-P-A-D-E-Z. And if you're interested in any of his services, make sure you check out his website, blackspadez.club. He mentioned Black Canvas. He mentioned Think Tank Tuesdays. He mentioned Debonair Society. The man is always around and involved in the community and pushing things forward and supporting people. So you can't buy energy like that, y'all. Make sure you check him out. Overall, I really enjoyed this session. This is our second opportunity to sit down with one of our passport winners after their first international experience, and the transformation, the amount of impact that these stories have right back at home where they started is just too cool. Like, I'm honored to even have the opportunity to have a platform that shares stories like this. I don't know where I've heard a story like this ever before. And Gabe and I talked a little bit more about his mentorship and how he's been able to positively influence and really change the trajectory, or help realign the trajectory for these young Black men out here in the Dallas area. And it's really cool. And now he's putting them on the travel game before he even got into the travel game. And that's dope. I think that's how we really push the community forward. So if you or somebody you know does not have their passport, is a man of color over the age of 21, and needs help in the passport department, we got you. Would love to have those entries in before the end of the month. We have about 15 days left by the time this show will drop. So make sure you reach out to us. And if you have any challenges, hit me up, kimonojack@pointnoirshow.com. I'd be happy to dialogue with you, just understand more what's going on. Maybe there's a better way we can reach people, and more people at that. That being said, I hope you all have smiling faces and an amazing rest of your week. Travel safely, travel often. Take care of those around you, you know? You never know who needs it. I'm Jerry the Third, aka Kimono Jack, signing off. I'll see you next time.